Ladies and gentlemen, today I want you to imagine something incredible. Inside your mind, there is a parliament, a powerful assembly of different voices, opinions, and instincts, all debating the most important decisions of your life. Every time you make a choice, it's not a simple command. It's a vote cast by the different regions of your brain, each fighting to steer your future. Your brain is not a dictatorship where a single voice makes all the decisions. Instead, it operates more like a democracy, a complex system of competing interests, each with its own agenda, priorities, and influence. Every thought, every impulse, and every action is a result of multiple neural networks working together, or sometimes against each other, to determine your next move. Like a parliament filled with diverse representatives, different regions of your brain contribute to decision-making, and the outcome depends on which voices are the most persuasive, the most experienced, or the most insistent. Some parts of your brain prioritize survival, always looking out for immediate dangers and short-term rewards. These are the instinctual voices, the ones that push you toward comfort, safety, and quick gratification. They whisper or sometimes shout that you should take the easy route, avoid risk, or react with emotion rather than careful thought. These voices are powerful because they are ancient, deeply ingrained in our biology, and often serve an important role in protecting us. However, they can also be overly cautious, reactive, or short-sighted. Then there are the voices of reason, logic, and long-term thinking. These come from the more advanced regions of your brain, the ones responsible for planning, analyzing, and making thoughtful decisions. These voices remind you to think beyond the present moment, to consider consequences, and to act in alignment with your deeper goals and values. However, they are often quieter, requiring effort and practice to strengthen their influence. Without conscious effort, these voices can be drowned out by the louder, more emotional factions of your neural parliament. Throughout your day, different parts of your brain are constantly negotiating with one another. When faced with a decision, whether small or life-changing, multiple networks weigh in, advocating for different outcomes. The part of your brain that craves comfort may argue against stepping outside your routine, while the part that seeks growth pushes you to take risks. The voice of fear may warn you about failure, while the voice of ambition urges you to move forward despite the uncertainty. In any given moment, the outcome of this internal debate determines the choices you make and the direction your life takes. This democratic process means that your decisions are rarely made by a single thought or feeling alone. Instead, they emerge from a negotiation between competing impulses, learned experiences, and conscious reasoning. The strongest voice in the room does not always have the best argument, but it often wins simply because it is the loudest or the most familiar. Recognizing this internal process is the first step toward shaping it. By understanding that your thoughts and impulses are votes being cast within your own mind, you gain the power to influence the outcome. The more you train yourself to amplify the voices of wisdom, patience, and discipline, the more often they will win the vote, leading you to make choices that serve your best interests in the long run. Every decision you make is a battle between logic and emotion, two powerful forces that influence your actions in different ways. Logic operates from a place of analysis, strategy, and long-term planning, seeking to weigh the pros and cons of a situation before reaching a conclusion. Emotion, on the other hand, responds instinctively, often prioritizing immediate gratification, personal attachment, or deeply ingrained fears and desires. These two forces exist within you at all times, constantly negotiating for control over your choices. The outcome of this battle determines not only what you do in a given moment, but also the trajectory of your life. Your logical mind is slow and methodical, relying on facts, past experiences, and careful reasoning to guide you. It is the part of you that understands the importance of discipline, perseverance, and making sacrifices today for a better tomorrow. It tells you to save money instead of spending it impulsively, to exercise even when you don't feel like it, to work hard toward your goals even when progress seems slow. Logic tries to keep your decisions aligned with long-term success, preventing you from making choices that feel good in the moment but lead to regret later. However, because it operates in a deliberate and measured way, it often struggles to compete with the immediacy of emotional impulses. Emotion, in contrast, is fast and powerful. It reacts instinctively to situations based on past experiences, social conditioning, and deeply rooted survival instincts. When you feel anger, fear, excitement, or frustration, those emotions can flood your mind, making it difficult to think clearly. Emotion tells you to lash out when someone offends you, to give up when something feels too hard, to chase pleasure even if it derails your progress. It does not stop to consider whether these reactions serve your best interests. It simply pushes for immediate relief, comfort, or validation. This is why emotional decisions are often the ones that lead to regret. They are made in the heat of the moment, without considering their full consequences. The struggle between these two forces is especially intense in moments of high stress, uncertainty, or temptation. You may find yourself torn between doing what you know is right and doing what feels easiest. This is where awareness and self-control become crucial. The more you recognize that these two voices exist within you, the more you can step back and assess which one should have the final say. It is not about eliminating emotion or ignoring logic, but about ensuring that the right voice takes the lead at the right time. There are moments when emotional intuition can be valuable, guiding you toward meaningful connections and experiences, but there are also times when unchecked emotion can sabotage your progress. Strengthening your ability to pause, reflect, and let logic and wisdom guide you rather than letting fleeting emotions take control is the key to making decisions that align with your true goals and aspirations. Every decision you make is influenced by the experiences you have accumulated over time. The brain does not start from scratch with each new choice. It relies on past patterns, habits, and learned behaviors to guide its responses. This means that many of the choices you make today are not entirely conscious, but rather the result of ingrained neural pathways that have been reinforced through repetition. Your habits and past experiences hold significant power because they shape the way your brain interprets new situations, determining how you react, what you prioritize, and which impulses gain the strongest voice in your decision-making process. When a behavior is repeated frequently, the brain begins to automate it, making it easier to follow the same pattern without much thought. This is why habits, whether positive or negative, tend to persist. If you have consistently responded to stress by procrastinating, avoiding challenges, or seeking instant gratification, your brain will naturally default to those behaviors when faced with similar situations in the future. If you have built the habit of confronting difficulties with resilience, persistence, and strategic thinking, those responses will become your instinctive approach. Your habits act as a voting system where the most frequently reinforced behaviors gain the most influence, shaping the way you think and act in critical moments. Experience also plays a significant role in determining how different voices within your brain influence your choices. If you have faced failure in the past, your brain remembers that experience and may amplify the voice of fear when you encounter a new challenge. If you have succeeded in overcoming difficulties, the voice of confidence and perseverance may speak louder. Your brain is designed to learn from past outcomes, using them as reference points to predict future results. However, this system is not always accurate, as past experiences can sometimes create false assumptions. A single failure does not mean future failure is inevitable, just as one success does not guarantee continued success without effort. Recognizing that your brain may be influenced by outdated or unhelpful experiences is crucial to breaking free from limiting patterns. The key to shifting this internal voting system in your favor is intentional effort. Every time you make a choice that aligns with the person you want to become, you are reinforcing a new habit and reshaping your decision-making process. Each time you push past resistance, challenge self-doubt, or choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen the voice that supports long-term growth. Over time, these intentional choices rewire your brain, making it easier to default to productive and empowering behaviors rather than self-sabotaging ones. The more you practice reinforcing the habits and thought patterns that serve your highest potential, the more influence they will have over your future decisions. Inside your mind, different voices compete for attention, each representing different emotions, impulses, and perspectives. Some of these voices are rational and constructive, helping you make well-thought-out decisions that align with your goals. Others, however, can be loud, impulsive, and disruptive, often pulling you away from the path you truly want to follow. Fear, doubt, insecurity, procrastination, and impulsiveness are some of the most dominant and noisy voices, and if left unchecked, they can take over your decision-making process. They do not speak with reason or logic. They react instinctively, often based on past experiences, insecurities, or survival instinct. Doubt is one of the most persistent voices in the mind, always questioning whether you are capable, worthy, or ready. It thrives on uncertainty, convincing you that you need more time, more knowledge, or more external validation before taking action. This voice has the power to paralyze progress, keeping you stuck in hesitation and second guessing. It rarely offers useful advice. Instead, it magnifies the risk of failure while downplaying your ability to succeed. The longer you listen to it without challenging it, the more power it gains over your actions. Fear is another voice that often speaks the loudest, especially when facing change, challenges, or unfamiliar situations. It is wired into the brain as a survival mechanism designed to protect you from harm. However, in modern life, it often misfires, treating any discomfort or uncertainty as a potential threat. This voice can convince you to avoid taking risks, even when the risks are necessary for growth. It warns you against stepping outside your comfort zone, making you believe that failure is more dangerous than it truly is. Although fear can sometimes be a useful guide, alerting you to real dangers, it can also be a barrier to success if it controls too many of your decisions. Impulsiveness is another disruptive force, constantly pushing for instant gratification. It demands that you act in the moment without considering long-term consequences. This voice encourages distractions, indulgence, and avoidance of discipline. It tells you to give in to short-term pleasure rather than staying focused on what truly matters. It is the voice that convinces you to procrastinate, delay responsibilities, or prioritize comfort over progress. While impulsiveness can sometimes lead to spontaneity and creativity, if left unregulated, it can derail goals, waste time, and weaken self-control. Managing these noisy voices requires awareness and intentional effort. The first step is recognizing them when they appear, understanding that they are not absolute truths, but passing thoughts influenced by past experiences, emotions, and fears. The more you identify these patterns, the easier it becomes to challenge them rather than obey them blindly. Learning to pause before acting on impulse, questioning the validity of doubt, and pushing through fear despite its presence allows you to take control of your decisions rather than being controlled by them. The voices in your mind will always be there, but you have the power to decide which ones deserve your attention and influence over your action. The way you think, react, and make decisions is not fixed. It is shaped by the habits and thought patterns you reinforce. Within your mind, different voices compete for influence, and the ones you listen to the most become stronger over time. If impulsiveness, doubt, or fear dominate your thinking, they will continue to steer your decisions. However, if you intentionally strengthen the voices of discipline, resilience, and strategic thinking, they will gain greater control, allowing you to make choices that align with your goals. Training the inner leaders of your mind is about actively developing the parts of yourself that guide you toward growth, success, and fulfillment. Self-awareness is the foundation of this process. Without recognizing which voices are influencing your decisions, you cannot change them. Many people go through life controlled by unconscious patterns, reacting instinctively without questioning why they think or feel a certain way. Training your inner leader starts with observing your thoughts, identifying negative or unhelpful patterns, and consciously deciding which voices to trust. It requires stepping back in moments of doubt, frustration, or impulsiveness and analyzing whether the thoughts driving your decisions are serving your best interests or merely reflecting old habits. The more aware you become of your mental processes, the more control you gain over them. Discipline is one of the most powerful inner leaders you can cultivate. It is the voice that reminds you to stay committed to your goals even when motivation fades. It pushes you to take action despite discomfort, to prioritize long-term success over short-term pleasure, and to maintain consistency even when progress seems slow. Discipline is not something that appears overnight. It is built through repeated effort by choosing to follow through on commitments even when you do not feel like it. The more you exercise discipline, the stronger it becomes, and over time, it can overpower the voices of procrastination and distraction. Resilience is another crucial leader within your mind. It is the voice that encourages you to keep going in the face of setbacks, to view failure as a lesson rather than a defeat, and to rise again after falling. Resilience develops through experience, by facing challenges rather than avoiding them, by embracing difficulties as opportunities to grow stronger. The more you listen to this voice, the more you train yourself to respond to adversity with determination rather than discouragement. It shifts your mindset from seeing obstacles as threats to viewing them as necessary steps in the journey toward success. Strategic thinking is the leader that ensures you make calculated, thoughtful decisions rather than reacting impulsively. It helps you step back, analyze situations, and weigh your options carefully. This voice considers the bigger picture, reminding you to align your choices with your long-term vision. Strengthening this voice requires practicing patience, developing problem-solving skills, and making decisions with intention rather than emotion. The more you train yourself to think critically and logically, the better equipped you are to navigate complex situations with clarity and confidence. Every decision you make is a vote for the person you are becoming. Each choice, no matter how small, reinforces a pattern, shaping your habits, mindset, and future opportunities. Your brain is constantly adapting based on the actions you take, strengthening the pathways that you use the most. If you consistently choose discipline over procrastination, confidence over doubt, or growth over comfort, you train your mind to default to those responses. However, if you repeatedly give in to hesitation, distraction, or fear, those behaviors become more ingrained, making it harder to break free from self-limiting cycles. The direction of your life is not determined by a single life-changing decision, but by the accumulation of thousands of small choices that gradually shape who you are. It is easy to underestimate the power of seemingly insignificant decisions. Skipping one workout, indulging in a single moment of procrastination, or avoiding one difficult conversation may not seem like a big deal in isolation. However, when repeated over time, these small choices create a pattern that defines your habits and identity. Likewise, choosing to push through discomfort, stay focused, or take responsibility in a single moment may not bring instant success, but when reinforced consistently, these choices build resilience, discipline, and confidence. Every action you take is either strengthening or weakening the version of yourself that you are working toward. Recognizing this allows you to take control of the process rather than letting your habits be shaped by convenience, fear, or external influences. The challenge lies in making decisions that align with your long-term goals rather than those that simply feel good in the moment. The voice of instant gratification is always tempting, urging you to prioritize comfort over growth. It tells you that one small slip does not matter, that you can always start tomorrow, that short-term pleasure is more important than long-term success. This voice is persuasive because it offers immediate rewards, but every time you listen to it, you cast a vote against the person you want to become. In contrast, the voice of discipline and long-term vision requires effort to follow, as it often asks you to delay gratification, push through discomfort, and stay committed even when results are not immediate. However, each time you choose to listen to it, you reinforce the habits that lead to success. The key is not to aim for perfection, but to ensure that the majority of your choices align with your aspirations. Everyone will have moments of weakness, times when they stray from their goals or give in to temptation. What matters is that these moments remain exceptions rather than patterns. Each day presents a new opportunity to cast votes through your actions, to take control of your future by making intentional choices. The more often you make decisions that align with the person you want to be, the more natural those choices will become, ultimately shaping your identity, achievements, and the life you create for yourself. Every thought, action, and decision contributes to the person you are becoming. Your mind is not controlled by a single voice, but by a complex system of competing influences, some driven by fear, doubt, and impulse, while others are rooted in logic, discipline, and long-term vision. Recognizing this internal process gives you the power to shape it. By strengthening the voices of resilience, patience, and strategic thinking, you train your mind to make decisions that align with your true goals. Growth is not about making one perfect choice, but about consistently choosing progress over comfort, discipline over distraction, and courage over hesitation. Every decision is a vote for your future self, and the more intentional you are in casting those votes, the more you shape a life of purpose, success, and fulfillment. You have the power to control which voices lead, choose wisely, and your future will reflect it.